Enjoy this conversation with me, Maureen Kimani, every Friday from 9 a.m. on our Health Corner show here at Capuchin TV. Your health is your wealth. Enjoy this conversation with me, Maureen Kimani, every Friday from 9 a.m. on our Health Corner show here at Capuchin TV. Your health is your wealth.
A very good morning. Thank you, dear viewer, for joining us on our Health Corner show right here on Capuchin TV with me, Maureen Kimani, where we bring you conversation on your well-being. Well, today we have a quite an interesting topic that I know you have a lot to share about, and that is mental health in workplaces. Well, I'm being joined by our guest, that is Veronica Maweu, who is a mental health practitioner. And of course, the month of May continues to be the Mental Health Month awareness. And that's why we're creating awareness of these mental health issues, awareness, how can we help ourselves just to maintain and to help ourselves to make sure that our day-to-day running activities are not affected by our mental health. Why? Because mental health is an important thing in our lives, anywhere, everywhere, at any time. And I want to read a sentence here that says, what can be protective factor for mental health, but it can also contribute to worsening your mental health. Well, we get to know all of this conversation right here on Capuchin TV with our guest, of course, and welcome to the conversation. Hello.
Hello.
Good to have you here again.
Always a pleasure to see you.
How are you doing? And
I'm
how do you
good.
feel about this day?
It's a bright day. Yes.
The conversation or topic today, very interesting.
Very interesting.
I'm sure you have a lot to share, that is.
Indeed.
Okay. Thank you all so much, Veronica Maweu. And I think we're going to start with a conversation that is mental health in workplaces. But because we have our viewers who are joining us on this topic or conversation for the first time, we've had some episodes on mental health, right? Very many. I think you can start by telling our viewers or understanding, helping them to understand what is mental health.
Okay.
Yeah.
So mental health is psychological well-being. Being well psychologically, okay? This is in your thinking, in your emotions, and consequently now it affects how you behave. So it's just that state of being well, cognitively, emotionally, and just being fulfilled psychologically. Yes.
Okay, I mentioned that mental health is important to everyone, everywhere, any day, any time.
Absolutely.
What do you have to say about that?
There is no health without mental health. You can't say you're well, you're mentally unwell, but your physique is okay, and you say you're healthy. No, you can't. So there is no health without mental health. So mental health is very crucial, determines your productivity, it determines how you enjoy the quality of your life. So it is very important. Yeah.
And let me take you back on my introduction. I talked about the month of May being set aside to create mental health awareness. Why is it important, or why is the need to have this month of May to create awareness? Because the whole of month of May, just talking about mental, health, mental wellness, name them all. Why is it important to have these mental health awareness month?
Yeah. A big chunk of our lives is spent with ourselves. And mental health is within ourselves. Okay, we can have it is within ourselves, and it also affects how we relate with other people. We are in a constant cycle between intrapersonal relationships and interpersonal relationships. Intrapersonal is the relationship you and yourself, within you. Interpersonal is the relationship between you and others. So why we need so much to understand and improve on our mental health, it's because it affects, number one, us and how we enjoy our lives. Number two, our interaction, everyone else around us, and how consequently we become productive in our lives. And everybody is geared towards productivity. I mean, everyone, wherever they are, they're geared towards productivity in their life, their workplace, in their relationships. So that is why we need to understand and improve on our mental health. Yes.
All right. Because we've been able to explain what is mental health, let's get back now to our topic, that is mental health in workplaces. What is a workplace?
A workplace is an environment. It's an environment where you put in some effort to gain some productivity or some outcome. Okay, it could be mostly it is geared towards an income generating kind of productivity. So most people go to work, why? To produce income. Riziki, isn't it? Kutafuta riziki. So yes, it's that kind of an environment or setting or setup where you achieve that, where you achieve your income, where you achieve your productivity to improve the quality of your life. So I'm saying it is a setting or a setup because it doesn't have to be a place. There are people who are working virtual.
Yes. Working from home.
Yes. Yeah.
All right. And as we talk about mental health in workplaces, most of the people nowadays spend a lot of time in their workplaces, spending time with their family, at home, doing your chores, having, meet up with your friends, having fun, all that kind of a thing. How is this mental health related to workplace?
Yes, we prioritize things in life depending on how much we put effort on them. And when it comes to workplace, remember a lot of us or a lot of people go to workplace, again, to improve the quality of their life. So we put a lot of effort, a lot of attention, a lot of time. We actually invest. We invest time, we invest energy, we invest our emotions. We invest a lot in the workplace. So with all that investment comes the connection between it and our wellness because of all the investment we do in the workplace. Yeah.
And maybe you can give us an experience of your workplaces. How did you like it? Have you ever had any issues or mental breakdown in your working life?
Well, let me talk about most of persons I handle sometimes even in therapy. There's a lot of concerns with places where people work. Okay, remember I've said there's a lot of investment. And this investment affects the quality of your life and the quality of the life of the people you live with. And there are a lot of people sometimes who've lost themselves in workplaces. What do I mean by lost themselves? You could have a boss or even somebody who is supervising you who is also probably battling their own issues, okay? And maybe because we don't have an avenue to address some of these issues at workplace, the person will come on you with all the baggage of maybe whatever they are battling in their mind. And maybe they have their own insecurities, pouring down these insecurities to you, pouring down this anger and frustrations maybe they've encountered in the morning to you, pouring down whatever it is that they're conflicting with in their own being to you, which can now have a detrimental effect on you. Sometimes you'll feel intimidated, okay? Probably you're trying to practice whatever it is that took you to work, but the person maybe who you're practicing under is also battling their own forms of insecurity, which is very normal because we are all human beings. But now, again, to answer your question, people do experience mental health challenges at workplaces because we are different personalities. One thing, Maureen, to note about personalities like your fingerprints. We are not the same. You can be your siblings, your parents, but your personalities are very different. Now, if those personalities in families are different, what about this setting where you're coming from all walks of life, you're coming from all religious beliefs and all cultural beliefs and all social status differences, okay? So we are all battling different things. We've been socialized into life differently. So how we handle things is very different. So now we are coming together in this workplace. And at workplace, we are always working towards a given goal, the organizational goal. So whatever the organizational goal is, you're supposed to blend all these personalities to fit for that productivity at the end of the day. So that is definitely going to create some turmoil in the workplace. That is why issues of mental health in the workplace need to be taken very seriously. There needs to be moments of engagement with staff, understanding what are you battling, how has your week been. You know, there are some very good organizations where early in the morning they have this can we call breaking ice moments. Okay. It's like a meeting, and you know, the supervisors are there, the employees are there, and it's just like people are asking how was your night, how do you feel for this day, you know, and it creates that feeling of, you know, now I've left whatever was and now I've come to work. But sometimes you're at work and nobody has even asked you, how are you? In fact, you just came in. Up? You came in and the question is, have you finished the report? Yeah? Do you know you're supposed to go for field work somewhere and somewhere? So there has been no that moment of breaking what was happening and where I am coming in. Yes.
All right. You mentioned about lots of challenges that are associated in the workplaces. Would you like to mention which are these challenges that one would be facing?
Yes. Let us even begin with work pressure. Again, we've gone to an organization, and every organization has a goal at the end of the day. We have objectives to meet those goals. So there is a way we are supposed to conduct ourselves. There is a way we are supposed to perform in that organization. Some people are also working under the pressure of reviews, you know, quarterly reviews, bi-weekly reviews, you know. So workplace pressure is a real thing, okay? And it is normal and expected because, again, this organization has some goals to achieve at the end of the day. So I also need to input what I am supposed to input from my end, okay? But sometimes, as I've told you, we have different personalities. So how I handle pressure is not the same way another person is handling the same pressure. So that could be one of the avenues where a lot of breakdown can happen, okay? Number two, we have anxieties. Anxieties come up as a result of some of these work pressures, yeah? Meeting deadlines is anxiety provoking. Wondering how maybe the presentation will be is anxiety provoking. Knowing you have maybe a high profile meeting where you need to apply a lot of maybe persuasion. Maybe it is a client and you're there to represent your organization and you need to go to this meeting and woo a certain client maybe to invest or, you know, to buy your product. Again, that is anxiety provoking. We have things like stress. in the workplace. Maybe you and your colleague, something happened, you're not in talking terms, you have this maybe small jealousies here and there. There seems to be maybe some, you know, this one is more loved and accepted. You know, those small competitions, again, that could result to stress in the workplace. And also those unhealthy strifes, those unhealthy competitions. There's a lot of unhealthy competition sometimes at workplace. You want to appear better than the other person. The other person wants to appear better than you. There is this small maybe gossips. Maureen did this, Maureen has been doing this, you know, just to appear better, or, you know, because there is that constant feeling of competition. Allow me to mention a word, and I'd like our viewers to go read into that word and maybe understand it much better. There's something we call corporate psychopaths. Psychopath or a psychopath is a person with a certain personality disorder in which they derive a lot of pleasure from disturbing peace, creating chaos, and they thrive in chaotic environments. So of course, if you've got a one personality, again, remember, we are so many different personalities and we are coming together. So maybe I'm even coming in with this psychopathic disorder, but mine is now corporate psychopath. So I like creating chaos, and I thrive within the chaos, you know. Sometime back, I was reading about the corporate psychopath, and they do this for two reasons. Reason number one is, of course, they thrive in chaos. So it is fulfilling to them. They derive gratification from the chaos. And reason number two is to create an atmosphere where they can easily look like the good ones. Because when you're busy, when your colleague creates that chaos, you will be caught up in the chaos because you don't thrive in chaos. So you are emotionally drained and focusing on this chaos. Somebody has said something bad about Maureen. Maureen is there trying to, no, why did this person say this? And you're caught up in that.
Yourself.
Yes. Your other colleague is caught up in that. The other one is, so the only person who looks calm during all this chaotic episode is who? It is the corporate psychopath. So the boss will come in and say, so it is only so-and-so who is focused with work. Yes, they're the ones who created the chaos, but the boss was not there to know that they created the chaos. So what happens? The rest of you are seen like you're not stable, you're not okay, you don't know how to manage your emotions. But the corporate psychopath, because that is an environment where they like and they're comfortable, they're seen as the ones who are able to manage that situation. They managed well. So again, unfortunately, most of the time they get the promotions because they thrived on that. So other maybe issues that can result in the workplace because of, again, mental health issues in the workplace is even addictions. You know, a person is so caught up with work that the only time, the only way they know to unwind is maybe eat. You know, we have food addiction. So every time they've got stress, they're eating. It takes their mind. Yeah?
Not having appetite.
No, they're just eating. They're eating. They become addicted to the food. Others, the only way they know how is work is over and tumepigiwa kelele mingi sana. Let's meet up at XX bar in the restaurant.
Have someone to.
Yes, so they start. They start. And because now the habit is geared towards dealing with workplace pressure, stress, and all that, with time it becomes a disorder. It becomes an addiction. Because one way we defined addiction, if you can remember very well, is taking something outside of ourselves to solve what is broken within us. So a person will keep getting into the drug, into whichever drug it is, whether it is food, whether it is the drugs of abuse, whether it is whatever, you know. So again, addiction can develop from that. And a lot of other issues can be affected by workplace mental issues, you know, things like even your family, things like your relationships, things like even your spiritual life can be affected. there are workplaces that are also very demanding, okay? There are workplaces that are draining, you know? There's somebody who is working in a place and they have to take care of very critical situations, security, health, and all that.
Sure.
So yeah, those are some of the things that workplaces maybe can predispose a person to.
Like, for example, we can give the police,
Yeah.
the KDF, they
Yeah.
go through a lot.
Yes.
And I'm sure you've been looking at the news and finding so many killings, you know, a policeman taking his own life, the family, the wife, and even the kids. There's so much going on. Or you even find a person was very okay working, but the following day, they never appear to work.
Yeah.
What's happened? They just took away their lives.
Yeah.
So I think there's much to be done
Yeah.
in workplaces, and of course that's why we have the human resource management and all that kind of offices. But before we go off for a break, I think so, we can talk about the symptoms of mental health issues.
In the workplace.
Yes.
Let's say the most evident one is absenteeism. You know, people have a lot of excuses. I'm not feeling well. My child did this. There were no matatus. You know, that constant absenteeism should tell us something. Something is not okay. Okay. Then we can also have silly mistakes. You've got this employee, and there's a lot of silly mistakes happening in their work. You know, it's like the attention, the concentration is not there. So every time maybe they do something, they have to repeat. The way they were putting the reports is no longer the same, you know. You can identify a lot of mistakes that never used to be present before, okay? You can also pick it through isolation and withdrawal. You know, this was a jovial employee who used to be okay with the rest of the colleagues, but all of a sudden this person is pulling away. This person is isolating and withdrawing. Whenever people are coming together, they always have an excuse maybe to remain on their desk. Maybe they are constantly in their earphones. You know, they don't want to engage, okay? There are also other issues. Person is even constantly sick, you know. We know some of the mental issues and emotional issues have an impact on even things like our digestion, you know. So a person is constantly having problems, you know. They've become too vulnerable to everything. The cold is here, they have it. The stomach problem is here, they have it. I don't know what else is here, they have it. They have constant headaches. You know, every time they are having something.
Some issues.
Yes, that could also tell us something. And then we also have these anger and irritability issues. They've become too easily angered. You know, yes, that could also play out as another sign that something is not okay, you know. And then, of course, when you start now picking the addictive behaviors, this person never used to drink as much. All of a sudden, they're drinking as much. The presentability issues, they used to be very neat and tidy and good looking. All of a sudden, it is anything goes. And they come to work like that. So that also don't care attitude. So there are a lot of signs and that can be picked that could tell us something is worrying.
But the most important thing is paying attention to all these kind of behaviors and being nice to people, and at least you can talk to them, know what they are suffering, know what they are going on, and by that we're going to create a good environment for everyone.
Conducive,
And I think with that we're going to take a very short break, but when we come back we shall talk about the risk factors and how can institution and even the bosses, employers, and help their employees to make sure they have a good working environment and they have the best thing they need in a working place. All right. And I think we're going to take a very short break, but when we come back we have much more on this conversation on mental health in workplaces.
Enjoy this conversation with me, Maureen Kimani, every Friday from 9 a.m. on our Health Corner show here at Capuchin TV. Your health is your wealth. Enjoy this conversation with me, Maureen Kimani, every Friday from 9 a.m. on our Health Corner show here at Capuchin TV. Your health is your wealth. Your health and wellness are the most important things in your life. It impacts on how everything else happens and is perceived by you. Most of the times, do we give it much attention as we should? That's why Capuchin TV is bringing you this health program every Friday, starting from 9 a.m. to help you embark on the journey to wellness and living a healthy life. It is important to point out that mental health is more about wellness than sickness. Self-care is not selfish. Some of the factors that can make a big difference in health wellness are diet, enough rest, exercise, posture, and avoiding use of alcohol. Enjoy this conversation with me, Maureen Kimani, every Friday from 9 a.m. on our Health Corner show here at Capuchin TV. Your health is your wealth. Enjoy this conversation with me, Maureen Kimani, every Friday from 9 a.m. on our Health Corner show here at Capuchin TV. Your health is your wealth. Enjoy this conversation with me, Maureen Kimani, every Friday from 9 a.m. on our Health Corner show here at Capuchin TV. Your health is your wealth.
Welcome back, dear viewer, to our conversation and our show right here on Capuchin TV. That is the Health Corner show with me, Maureen Kimani. And joining me in the studio, we have a guest, Veronica Maweu, a mental health practitioner. And before we went for the break, we were talking about the mental health in our workplaces. Why is it important? I'm sure you're asking yourself, what's the need of having this conversation, mental health in workplaces? Until you pay attention, that's when you'll understand it's actually a key factor to your life And of course, it's very important because it's all about mental health. And of course, as we continue with this conversation on our second part, we're going to begin with the risk factors because we've been able to see what are some of the signs and symptoms. The symptoms are in workplaces. We have the stress, we have absenteeism and all that kind of a thing. But until you pay attention to it, it won't be a problem to you. It's just, having a normal day. Matatu ilichelewa, there was traffic, but it can be consistent. Or every day, every week, you have the same reason. And of course, poor management at work. We have that appearance also becomes a problem. And of course, many more that has been mentioned by Veronica. But let's begin with our second part. Welcome back. Veronica, let's continue now. What are some of the risk factors that contribute to mental health in workplaces?
Let me talk about something called burnout. Just from the word burn, it's burnt out. You've worked, and no play. There's this English that says all work and no play makes somebody a dull person. That statement is very true, unfortunately. Sometimes you can work and overwork and overwork and overwork, and you're not noticing what you're doing to yourself until you're at that point where you're just on autopilot. So you've just become a robot and you're just working. That means you're not present. You're not mindfully working. You're just working. Burnout is one of the things that can cause a mental health issue at your workplace. There's a lot of demotivation that comes with burnout. When we're talking about signs, I forgot to mention that when you observe demotivation in some of the staff, demotivation comes as a result of there being feelings of inadequacy. As much as I'm trying, it is not evident. As much as I'm trying, I'm not meeting the deadlines. I'm not meeting the expectations of my supervisor. As much as I'm trying, I'm not yet there. So after a period of trying, then there's a very high likelihood that a person will suffer from demotivation. So I had mentioned earlier that addiction can start as a result of that workplace, those workplace factors, that are not supportive to mental health in the workplace. So there could be addictions. There could be a lot of conflict in the workplace as a result of mental health issues in the workplace. Remember, I said again, we are different personalities. We are all battling different things. So if there is no avenue to address some of these issues that are coming up, then there's going to be a lot of conflict. If people are not aware of mental health in the workplace, if people are not aware of it, they're not going to understand when people start behaving in certain ways. So every time somebody's behaving in a certain manner, maybe the supervisor is feeling like this person is not serious with his work, or this person is looking down upon me, or this person is, again, going back to the insecurities. We are human beings. We have different types of insecurities. Bosses are human beings. Supervisors are human beings. Even the human resource managers are human beings. The employees are human beings. Down even to the lowest, maybe subordinate staff. We are all human beings. And we are all operating on a psychological level. We have our own insecurities. So if we are not aware of our own selves, we are going to pour out something to another person in the workplace, which is going to affect them mentally. So we talked about anxieties before. Another thing that can come up as a result of there not being considerations of mental wellness in the workplace. Anxieties can quickly escalate into a disorder because we have what we call anxiety disorders. It can quickly escalate into things like phobias. You having all of a sudden fear of a certain person. because of maybe how they have been presenting themselves. You know, I don't know if you've ever been to a situation where you see intimidation to a level where maybe a member of staff has been so intimidated that every time maybe this particular person appears, they even babaika. Yeah?
They become restless.
Exactly. They are restless. Their thinking is not the same anymore. The relaxation, even the smile that was on their face going upward, now it's curving downwards. You know, all of a sudden the mood
Has changed.
the mood just changes when a certain person comes in. You know, there's a lot of fear that could develop as a result of there being no considerations of mental wellness in the workplace, because again, a lot of intimidation inflicts fear, and fear has a lot of negative consequences in the long run. There could be a lot of other disorders that could come up as a result of having these extreme fears because of something. Self-esteem issues. A person can be predisposed to low self-esteem again in the workplace if there is no this understanding about the importance of mental wellness in the workplace. Again, we are all battling different things, and depending on what a person is doing, where they are coming from, what upbringing they got, how well structured psychologically they were brought up, they could suffer from low self-esteem because they are constantly being put down, you know. We are coming from societies, again, which have things like, for example, male chauvinism. Yes, where these patriarchal societies where, and let men not misquote me in this one, where men are everything, you know, and when a man talks, that is, the word is low, and you as a woman should say nothing. So now imagine if you have a person or a boss or a supervisor who is maybe coming from this patriarchal society, and they have come in with all this personality of you know, that kind of tendency, and you're here, you're maybe the female, and maybe you're even their supervisor, they are working under you, but because where they come from, women don't talk, there is that constant putting down, there is that constant making you feel like you don't know what you're saying, you're just a woman, to us women are objects, you know, and all that, you know, which can again affect you as the woman who is maybe the supervisor, even in your self-esteem, if you're not very strong, okay? This can also affect that man's productivity, because where they're coming from, women are never on top. So why should I be told something by a woman when I'm the one who is supposed to be telling her what to do?
All right.
So that is also another issue that culture, you know, again, we are coming from different cultures in our workplaces. So if we don't address some of these mental wellness issues in the workplace, things like culture can also inflict a lot of mental unwellness in the workplace. And remember, Maureen, a lot of people are working with this fear of, I don't want to be fired. So they suffer things, but they never articulate them. So the things are buried deep within. Because again, we are all working towards improving the quality of our lives. You've got kids, they need to go to school. You've got your family, it needs to feed. You've got yourself, you need to clothe yourself. Maybe you're still paying for your own school fees, or you're even, you have loans, like the student help loan is one of the things that I know maybe gives people a lot of pressure. So you're still servicing those loans. So you want to keep what you have, irrespective of what is happening, because you don't have any other way to get out of that. So as a result, people are not able to talk because maybe the work environment, there's not that avenue to talk. So they close in, and eventually what happens? Poor productivity, you know, the detrimental health statuses. People are getting into addictions. People are getting depression. People People are getting anxiety disorders. People are becoming violent, abusive when they get home because he's come home late and you're asking him why he's late, and he's suffering some things at workplace. He's bursting on you. There's something we call in psychology displacement. Hawezi lipukia boss wake. So who is lower than him? You, if you're the wife. So
the
comes
kids.
and and displaces everything on you.
Okay.
So yeah.
That's quite elaborated, and after observing all these kind of signs and all these kind of mental health issues in workplaces, how can we help or manage anxiety, conflict from colleagues to the staff, to the bosses and all the people around?
Yeah. There's something called organizational structure. And the way an organizational structure is created, it is created in such a way that there is hierarchies, isn't it? And everybody knows to whom they're supposed to answer to. That is one way in which it is geared towards minimizing a lot of pressure and a lot of conflict, okay? Just knowing if I have a problem, I can go to the most immediate supervisor. If the most immediate supervisor has a problem, they can go to. Though sometimes it also doesn't solve the problem. Again, you mentioned something called human resource managers. They are there to, again, take care of the human, because the human is a resource, isn't it? The human is the one going there to do the labor in order for the organization to achieve its goals. So yes, these persons are placed there, or rather they are there, so that employees can be able to go and maybe open up and talk about their own issues. We can have organizations also referring their employees to professionals, like counselors, like psychologists, okay, like social workers, if there is that evident, if something is, there is an evidence that there is something with one of their persons, okay. There can be corporate trainings, as mental health practitioners, we go to organizations, we give talks, we'll be called to one organization, we'll talk about depression, we'll go to another organization, we'll talk about anxiety, we'll talk about schizophrenia, we'll talk about addiction. That creating awareness helps to open the minds of the employees and even their bosses. So they're able to start detecting those small signs, and if the signs are detectable, then they are also alerted. This is how you go about it. If you're experiencing this, then approach so-and-so, or you can put it in writing to so-and-so, okay? That creates that avenue for opening up, yeah? Something else that can also be done, which I've seen a lot of organizations embracing nowadays, is the team building events. When an organization goes for team building, you see, it is a moment of it's a moment of it's relaxation, and we are having fun, but we are having fun as colleagues. So what that creates at the back of every person's mind is, even when you go back to work, they are my friends, they are my family. I can be friendly and open to these people, because in team building, remember, your boss is there jumping with you, and maybe you're a subordinate staff, but you're all there jumping and having fun, and so that is also another avenue that organizations can use. Have at least well planned team building events. Other avenues have a grievance, a method of airing grievances. Let employees also understand that I don't have to suffer with something inside. There is this method of airing grievances, and it is acceptable because maybe it is already engraved in the constitution of the organization. There is the Labor Act. Read through the Labor Act, understand what are some of your rights as an employee? Because sometimes, again, people suffer because we don't know what has been, our country has already taken care of us. Yeah. It is engraved somewhere in a labor law, but we don't read to understand what rights do I have. And also, have passion for what you do. One of the things that contributes a lot to burnout and stress and all these workplace pressures is because we are working in places we are not passionate to work. You know, you were cheated when you were in college that when you do business, you're going to earn this amount of money. And here you are coming from college and your first salary is 10,000 and you don't have anything else you do, so you must be there. Do you think you're satisfied in that workplace? No. You're battling a lot of things inside because your expectation of life was there high. And now you're here. Let us also learn to let us check into ourselves and create or have this self-awareness. Let us understand also life. Let us understand basics and realities of life so that we don't put expectations on the roof. Then when we meet them halfway, not on the roof, we forget that we can still increase them periodically. We start wanting to rush to the roof. I was talking to another parent who was telling me the problem with the generation we have today, they don't want to work, but they want the money. So you're in a workplace, but life. Yes, you're in a workplace, Maureen, but the only thing you want is the salary at the end of the month. You're very demotivated. And because your only motivation is that salary, you're not enjoying what you do in the workplace. Your only motivation is that money you're going to get at the end of the... A lot of signs are going to be on you. A lot of conflict in your workplace is going to be there. Because you don't enjoy what you're doing. If you have something that you need to take care of, because your focus is not on that thing, that assignment that you've been given by your boss, your focus is on the salary that you're waiting for at the end of the month, you're not going to focus on that assignment. You're constantly counting days. Tuko tarehe ngapi leo? Tuko tarehe 24. Tumebakisha siku? You know, you're counting. So you need to also have passion for what you do. This maybe could go to the parents, like when our kids are just about to join college, let them go for career counseling. Let them go for career counseling. That way, when they're getting into a course, they know what they're getting into. You don't go do a very big bombastic name of a career because you're expecting to get a 6-figure salary. And then you come out here and the reality is so different. In fact, that career you studied for hakuna openings. So you need to start with selling some tomatoes around as you have you some green pastures and something else to do. Have you gone on YouTube to check people who put at frustrations after graduation? There are so many such clips of how big expectations people had, and it is also creating a lot of depression in the young people. So again, in workplaces, let people be motivated. Let people have passion for what they are doing. Find the joy in the work you do. Try and find that joy in what you do. Do it from within. In fact, the Bible says when you do anything, do it as if you're doing for who? For the Lord. That means have passion for what you're doing. And when you do that, you will find a lot of peace. If I'm doing this mental health training because I love to do it, it doesn't matter how long I do it. It doesn't matter who is listening. I'm enjoying what I am doing. So workplaces, again, the employees also have a duty. Find passion in what they do.
All right.
Yes.
Wow. Thank you so much, Veronica. I don't think I have something else to add on whatever you have talked about, because you have really, you know, gotten deeper and deeper and deeper on these conversation on the conflict and how people can manage these mental health issues in workplaces. And I think because the time is not on our side, we're going to have your parting shot. What message would you love to tell the viewers, of course, concerning the mental health in workplaces, and of course mental health generally, as we close the month of May, that is the month of mental health awareness. Yes.
I started by saying there is no health without mental health, and we spend a lot of our lives in the workplace. So this should be one of the places in which we are also very well adjusted in our lives. Remember, we are different personalities. Let us try and understand each other in the workplace. Let us have avenues to air out our grievances in workplaces. Let employees understand what mental health is. Let us embrace people as they come. Let us also seek to empower people even as they work under us. And let the general population understand what mental health is, so that as you interact with somebody, at the back of your mind, you know this person could be going through something. So whatever they say, whatever they do, also don't take it too personally. It could be a person is going through their own issues. And finally, let's seek professional help whenever we experience some of these mental health issues. Go read about mental health, understand mental health in the workplace, know why you have a human resource manager, know why your boss is giving you these team building activities, know why there are all these avenues, and of course, have passion for what you do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And of course, respect your workplace.
Yes, absolutely.
All right. Thank you so much, Veronica, for that. And may God continue blessing you so that we can have that enough knowledge of sharing to our viewers, because I'm sure they are learning a lot as I do. And thank you so much for enlightening us on this mental health in workplaces and generally the mental health awareness, and making sure that we all understand, and so that we can be able to help ourselves, evaluate ourselves, and make sure that everything is okay. Yeah. Thank you so much, and to you, our viewer, and I would like to say thank you to the team that has been behind the camera. We have Faith Nyambura, Eric Otieno, Alan Andiva, Peter Mwangi, and all the crew that is involved for this succession of the Health Corner Show right here on Capuchin TV with me, Maureen Kimani. I'm saying goodbye and have a good day. May God bless you. See you next time.
Enjoy this conversation with me, Maureen Kimani, every Friday from 9 a.m. on our Health Corner show here at Capuchin TV. Your health is your wealth. Enjoy this conversation with me, Maureen Kimani, every Friday from 9 a.m. on our Health Corner show here at Capuchin TV. Your health is your wealth.
I would like to appreciate the Capuchin TV. We are very, very grateful, and we always encourage people of goodwill, our Christians, to continue supporting the Capuchin TV, the only Catholic TV, the only one in Kenya. Imagine, the only one. So let us support them. They cover most of our masses here at the Basilica. So as individuals, as groups, let us support Capuchin TV, because they continue reaching out to the people of God, wherever they are, to be more and more nourished spiritually. So Capuchin TV, thank you. May God bless your ministry.
Tuendelee kufanya kazi. Paybill number 510,678. Account name CAPS TV.